Step one of diagnosing a car. Understanding what you're working with. Pulled up wiring diagram. 2 relays. MFI relay and also a fuel pump relay. Interesting. So, the MFI relay does give power to the ECM, it looks like. Along with like fuel pressure, EGR, evaporative. My gut says, if that was an issue, that we would have a check engine light because there's other sensitives, there's sensors involved, and maybe I wouldn't even be able to communicate with ECM. Because as I'm looking for the power source to the ECM, it's the MF relay. MF. I didn't mean it like MF relay. It's the MFI relay. That's pretty funny too, now that I think about that. I don't think it's that relay. I also have a fuel pump relay. But we'll go through a quick check just in case. This says, according to the diagram, that my output is number 1, which is the red wire. Okay, let's see here. Got my trusty dusty power test light. These 2 relays right here. One's fuel pump. One's fuel injection. What's that say? Just a power. Yep. Wrapping myself for this instant. Power. And nothing's asking me signal. So it says that this pin is power out, which I do have 12 volts right there. Let's see. Turn off the key. Ready, go. There we go. Relay clicked. Lost my signal. I'm not worried about that relay being an issue. How about fuel pump relay? Let's see here. Some power. 12 volts. Nada. 12 volts. Black with a blue stripe. Survey says that goes to the fuel pump. Well, I'm not going to be able to test that without cranking the engine. I'm going to go to the other side and crank it. Ready? Alright, I was getting voltage on the output side of the relay. So that's good. So, I guess I got to keep looking. Why are you being saucy? Of course, I didn't check to see if it lost compression. But, no, it doesn't matter. Don't get lost. We had no spark. We got to figure out where the spark comes from. All right, we have an ignition coil. We have a ignition power transistor. What in Pete's name is going on there? Okay. Fuel injectors. That doesn't matter. What's this one say? Oxygen sensors. Yeah. Boost gauge. Nope. TPS. Maybe. Airflow sensor. Sure. Okay, we have a cam sensor. We have a crank sensor. See, camshaft sensor, top rear cylinder head, crank sensor, front of engine by the crankshaft. Ew, that means it's down low. That's not fun. I think we should find the ignition power transistor. Wow, that's super fancy for whatever it is it does. But that could be why our ignition coil is not ignition coiling. Maybe. The one thing that's super fun. Some fuses. I didn't check any of these yet. is that I checked the forums real quick to see if there was something quick and dirty. Of course, no spark conditions are very common on this car. And I think the interesting thing ignition switch relay. No, I don't see any obvious issues in here. The funny thing is you go on the forum and they're like, oh, check the ignition coil, check the ignition modulator transistor thingy, check the crankshaft position sensor. They say check it, but they don't tell you how. Nobody gives any information that says something along the lines of, oh, the blue wire with a purple tracer needs to have 12 volts and key on. This wire needs to be grounded during a ignition cycle. This one you're going to have a pulse width modulated 5-volt signal. They don't say that. They just say check it. And so if people are on the forums, they don't know what to check. They don't know how to check. I don't know how to check that. I have to look up a diagram and see how things work. Maybe find a video. So I think what they mean is buy the parts, put them in, and if it doesn't fix it, get back to the forum. But nobody gives any actual checking information how to. So that's not super useful. Forum guys. One guy's like, oh, check compression. Yeah, because no compression is going to cause a no spark condition. Really? Maybe I should check the adjustment of my brake pads on my front brakes to make sure that that's not an issue. These guys. I see a thingy right here that looks unlike other thingies. Oh, and it's loose. There's a bolt missing. Almost as if somebody has checked that thingy. Oh, somebody has. What is this wire right here? Okay, somebody has. There's new wires for a crankshaft position sensor. Okay. A little sketched out because it's behind the timing cover. I don't know that I trust that install, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet. How about our fuel injection ignition transistor modulator thingy? Maybe it's got some power and grounds. Let's check that first. All right, DSM, you'll make me regret my purchase. To be fair, I haven't tried that long yet. Well, I've been, between just putting the car back together to get a base point, but on actual trying to figure out the problem, it hasn't been that bad. Well, ouch. Just jabbed myself. I haven't spent that long suffering. Not yet. Okay. So the ignition thingy says, okay, there's a brown and a red. That could be power-ish. Let's just unplug it first. Let's start with that. Although that looks new. Let's get started. Let's see. Anything? I should try looking at the screen so I can see it. Oh, there it is. Okay, that pin has 12 volts. That's a blue wire. Number... I don't know what number it is. But it's the only blue wire. Let's start with that. Blue, black. Oh. That's interesting. What? No. Yes. Okay. David. Nada. Nothing. Nothing. Oh, there's another one. Black with a white. Engine speed detection connector right side of the firewall. I don't know what he's talking about. I'll look around to that. And nada. And nada. Oh, last one's got 12 too. Also engine speed detection. Okay, that seems pretty confident, so we're not going there anymore. Well, unfortunately, we haven't made a ton of progress yet. We've done some basic checks. Uh, in my heart, this car is acting exactly like a failed crankshaft position sensor. And in these early cars, I've had issues where it's not picked up by the ECM. So we should probably test it. But one thing I have been doing too is checking through like the aftermarket Mitsubishi kind of like diagnostic protocol. But what I haven't done is I'm going to go into what's known as generic OBD, which is, like if you pick up a cheap scanner that just pulls codes, that's what you're looking for. It's not necessarily, you won't get manufacturer specifics, like Pacific, but not like the ocean codes. And sometimes words are tough, but sometimes you might get a better idea. Also with aftermarket scanners, sometimes they don't communicate well, and there's items that are lost in translation that I found. With that being said, it's good to check different avenues just in case. So we're going in generic OBD2, what the smog machine sees. See if there's any clues there. Maybe I can find a pending fault. That would be cool. All right, enter protocol. Let's see, read fault codes. I hope my daughter and wife really appreciate the time I'm putting into for them for this car. Oh, no fault codes. Well, okay. Not a lot going on there, I guess. I think I'm going to find a diagram and let's test the crankshaft position sensor. I saw it was replaced, but they're sensitive to air gap, and so if you don't put them exactly where they're supposed to go, then the air gap can be all screwed up. Or you can just have a bad sensor, but my spidey sense says that's where we're going. No faults, so we're going to find a test procedure. Let's get that crankshaft position sensor tested. Here is the test for the crankshaft position sensor. This reminds me of the forums. Make sure you check your crankshaft position sensor. How do you check it? Nobody said. I looked at the wiring diagram. I've got some rough ideas, but I found an actual test procedure. So we're going to go with that first. Judging by how I keep seeing things not installed correctly, maybe that sensor is just not installed, or the wiring's broken because somebody pulled onto it. I'm like straddling this hood struts right in my flipping way. Okay, step one. I don't want to do step one. Let's just start at step two. Measure the crankshaft sensor connector A-04. Check. Let me find a good ground. All right. Ooh, look at that. Big one right on the intake. All right. Crankshaft sensor. Where are you? You slimy. Okay. All the wires look installed, so that's good. Okay. Let's see. Disconnect the connector and measure the harness side. Copy. Harness side. That means car, not the sensor side. Voltage between 3 and ground. Ignition on. Which one's 3? I don't know because the connector's not labeled. I'm just going to poke some stuff. That one's got 12. Oh. 12. Nada. Ooh. Something made noise when I connected that. think that's actually the fuel pump priming. That's interesting. Okay. I need the wiring diagram because I don't know which one 3 is. Okay. We're back to straddle my hood strut again. Crankshaft position sensor. 3 is yellow. Okay. That's weird. There's no yellow here. Okay. Wait, this can't be right. It says vehicle speed sensor. Duh. Sometimes you have to read with your eyes and your mind. Vehicle speed sensor, not engine speed sensor. Okay. Oh, look, this one's actually labeled crankshaft position sensor. Let's try that. Okay. That says between 3, which is wed. It's a wed wire, which is what I thought. This light says 12 volts. Cool. Voltage between 2 and ground. 2 is blue and white. Okay, I see a blue wire. It says blue and ground. Ignition on. It says between 4.8 and 5.2. So that's the one. You guys might not be able to pick it up. Every time I ground it, something is happening. It's like maybe the fuel pump's firing off. That's weird. But either way, it says 4.8 to 5.2 volts. And that's not what my light says. To be fair, oh, small problem. Look at that. Right on my light. It says what the voltage range is, and it's minimum of 6. Okay, looks like I need different test components. Well, no wonder it's not picking up 5 volts, because it starts at a minimum of 6 volts. All right, let's get yet another test tool. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry you guys had to witness my little BF just then, but it's okay. I think I'm hungry, so I'm getting cranky. Put this guy on ground. And okay. 5 volts. Cool. Okie dokie. And continuity between 1 and ground. Okay. Number 1 is black. Okay, let's go black. And that's saying 16.4 ohms of resistance to ground. I don't know about that. That seems kind of high. And on this, it goes directly to ground. And it says behind foot distribution duct. What? Behind the foot distribution duct. I mean, it's not a great ground, but it's not the worst. And when I go block to block, it goes to nada. Okay. Behind foot distribution duct. Okay, so they're saying somewhere in there, there's a ground. It's not okay. 16 is not great. I don't like that at all. Let me check. Okay, so like this guy right here. What is that thing? Map sensor maybe? Maybe the map sensor. So what I'm going to do is the reason why green and yellow. Okay, black. Maybe. Light green with black. Yeah, that could be. All right. So the reason why I found that sensor, which seems like it looks like a map sensor, is because I was going to check to see what that had as a ground, and it doesn't have one. So never mind. We're not going there. Maybe that high resistance ground is causing me issues. Let's find that ground and see what's going on there. But what I might do too is I noticed that the pins are a little spread. Maybe they could be a little less spread. Oh, wait. Wait a second. There's a ground resistor thingy right here. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to do some research and figure out where this ground is behind foot distribution duct. G302. I'll be back, guys. Before I get too carried away with chasing grounds, as I went and did some quick research, couldn't find any good pictures. Said somewhere around the center console area. Yeah, I took a look. Looked all right. I'm going to give myself a good ground out here and give it a shot first before we get too carried away in chasing down grounds that may or may not exist where we need them to exist. That's the hard part. Ooh, okay. Power probe active. All right, so let's see. Let me... got a lot of test equipment here right now. Okay, what wire was that? 1 and ground. Black. Okay. And so I'm going to gently back probe here into that connector. Okay. And let's see, my power probe has got a connection to ground currently. So I don't want to do that anyways. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to double check this. I'm going to clamp my other ground right here. Turn this guy on for continuity. And now let's see. What is this? 17. Interesting. Let's see right here. 17. I think there's a ground issue with this car. Let's go over this way here. Because when I was testing directly there, and I'm at my battery source, okay, so right there is 0. Let's go to the firewall where there's a ground connection coming off that. 1.4. Let's see. Go right to my connector here. Alright, what in Pete's name is going on here? How did I go from, let's see. Okay, I have 17 to the block. So, because I'm testing at the block right here, let's see what that guy says. Okay, 4.7. And right there. 1.7. Not that big of a difference. Valve cover says 0. Let's try chassis. Oh, right there. 5.9. Yeah, manageable. Maybe these connections are not okay over here. That says 6. So actually, let's relocate this guy. All right. Now I'm at a different spot. That negative cable is not in good shape. All right, I back probed. Let's see what this is. How is it saying 17 right there? How am I? I'm literally losing ground somewhere. Oh, because I'm measuring my meters on the block. So to me, it says I have a bad connection from my block to over there. Okay. I think I need a jumper cable. I have noticed that negative is crusty. Like I could even see the corrosion in the wires. Okay, so I'm going to use my jumper cables to apply an auxiliary ground. Those guys, see, there's a best option is a unpainted surface, which is right. Ooh, that and eyes too. Okay, yeller. Okay, let's go here to. Oops. Let's see. Let's take that. Relocate that down there. You know what? It's just. I should really just get a battery for this car. Okay. All right. Now let's see how ground circuit looks. 17. Oh, you know what? This was the. I don't need to be going to the block because that ground was located in the center console, which means it was a chassis ground. So I'm not trying to increase the engine ground. I need to increase a chassis ground. Okay. Let's go. Let's see if that does anything. Nope. Okay. That says I have a good ground. How about right here? Okay, 0.4 increased a little bit. How about right here? 0.2. How about right here? 0.6. 7. 9. Okay. Are we chasing a ground issue? Or are we going down a rabbit hole right now? I don't know where I want to test from now. A lot going on. There's jumpers and connectors everywhere currently. Maybe that's not such a great chassis ground. It's kind of dirty. Maybe just back up on this horn ground here. Let's see that. Let's try that one. 18. Well, I'm thinking that before we go any further, I'm going to verify. I'm going to clean these grounds. There's some terrible grounds on this side here. Right at the battery. So when I go to the battery cable that goes to the block, I have 0 ohms. So that tells me that the engine ground is solid. But if I try to go engine ground to chassis ground, 6.1. Okay. Let's go to this chassis ground. 6.9. Okay. So I think let's go to what I need to do is I need to make sure that the engine is grounded to the chassis well, because there seems to be some discrepancy there. It's like, that's okay. And that's 1. But why does the rest of it suck? What's going on here? I better go inside the car and see what's going on. Here's our ground cable in question. It's pretty crusty. I'm thinking maybe right here there's a connection. So I'm going to clean that first. You know, a lot of times I try not to get too tied up on, you know, if there's some readings a little out of spec. And so that can also be a rabbit hole if you're not careful. Just don't take those readings for granted. Basically is what I'm trying to say. Let's just get this guy separated here if we can. It's kind of hard when it's not attached to a battery. I need something to not twist. Alright, that didn't work. Let's see here. Maybe I can go like this. Okay, something's happening there. Like that. Ooh, okay, let's see. There we go. That's definitely not a happy connection. Okay. That. Here, is this supposed to separate from that too? Oops. Ooh. Landed right on the positive. That's not okay. Well, I guess let's see if this actually can just separate. Doesn't want to yet. That's okay. I'm gonna get an abrasive pad, clean up these connections real quick, and see what that does. Okay, I'm back. So I thoroughly cleaned the negative connection. It's got the lead post, and then a large ground wire goes to the chassis, a large ground wire goes to the block. Both are heavily corroded. Separated all 3 pieces, cleaned them all up, some abrasives, and now I'm testing my grounds, and the most I have is 0.2. Huge improvement. Will the car care? I don't know, but it seems like a good place to start. So I think for now, let's plug this crankshaft position sensor back in and see if anything decides to change. Wouldn't that be something if all we did was clean the ground and the car starts? Okay, crankshaft sensor's plugged in. Let's see, all my 14 meters over here are all out of the way. I guess now let's just apply power and see if it does anything. It's been my normally in the past, I'll do this kind of stuff and the car doesn't care. There's still a problem. Maybe it's different this time. Attempt 23. So basically, I've done the wiring checks like the instructions said. It said continuity. It didn't say what number. So that's a perception thing. But if this doesn't work and the car still doesn't start, I still think I should go towards the crankshaft position sensor. I should at least look at the installed position of it, seeing how many other things have been installed terribly on this car. Clutch in. Come on, baby. Still doesn't care. Well, that was a good exercise in electrical maintenance on the car. Let's see if anything new has popped up yet. Because you never know. But, yeah, so I noticed the connector for the crankshaft position sensor is all out of sorts. And it maybe could contact the timing belt. So we got to look at that. Which it's irritating because it's wheel off, the belts come off, the balancer comes off, lower timing cover comes off. If I'm going to inspect it, I'm going to replace it. Because the ignition module that's been replaced is completely blank, no part numbers on it. So we know that we had budget-friendly shoppers when they were trying to fix this car. And I have received off-brand parts that don't work right out of the box. Interesting. Look what popped up here. 0335. You know what? I'm going to order a name brand crankshaft position sensor and go from there. So, that's all for today. It's getting hot as balls in here. And I'm not doing that crankshaft sensor today. That sounds like a project for another day. Not to mention I gotta find one. So, I wonder who the original manufacturer was. Maybe it was Denso. Who knows. Thanks for watching Theory Works, guys. Maybe next time we'll have this car running and do something cool with it. Like a burnout. Maybe. See you guys later.